Yes. Welcome in to, we'll get Judd. Judd's at the game right now trying to figure out. So he was originally going to be like in some room, and they told him the room is actually the Clippers' depressing post-game press conference. So he's going to join us from Target Center. It's a special Mackie and Judd late night edition here. Let's call it Timberwolves Vent Line. If you want to bring your takes and your thoughts on the Timberwolves wiping the floor with the Clippers in the fourth quarter to the table here and punching their ticket as the 7 seed to the playoffs, let's just use the Vikings Vent Line email. Yeah. It's easier. It's a one-stop shop. I know it's kind of weird, but email us at vikingsventline@gmail.com if you want to be on the show. We will send you the invite if you want to literally be on the screen with us here on the Score North YouTube channel. But Declan, I don't know, I don't want to do the Karl-Anthony Towns thing until maybe tomorrow. Like, we can talk about it, but
yeah,
how did they lead at halftime?
Yeah,
and then he leaves the game, and I tweeted him like, I hate to say this, but they're better off without him tonight. I don't think he's going to be like that in the playoff games every night, but Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell put this team on their back in the fourth quarter, and even at times throughout the whole game, and they daggered the Clippers. And Patrick Beverley, talk all the trash that you can possibly talk. I love that he did the Kevin Garnett jump up on the scores table thing, thumping his chest, getting the fans pumped up. Timberwolves are in the playoffs, baby.
Yeah.
Timberwolves are in the playoffs. I don't have a flag, but maybe someone does.
Yeah, just let's go. Pat Bev, drinks for free tonight. Doesn't matter.
Amazing.
I mean, insane, dude. It was actually a pretty wild night in Minnesota sports, and you think of all the things that were happening this evening just between the Wolves game and the Wild game. Obviously, the Twins had like a 95-minute rain delay, but we are not even going to mention those other teams right now because how insanely awesome this Timberwolves game was. We had Dane Moore on the show this morning on the Mackie and Judd podcast feed and on this YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button right here for Daily Minnesota Sports Entertainment. And we also kind of all agreed that even though they've had this situation before, right? They played a game 83 with the Nuggets 4 years ago when it wasn't a true play-in, right?
82, yes, 82. Yep.
So it was still like a play-in game, but this felt more like this is the biggest Wolves game since arguably Game 7 against the Kings, since the run against the Lakers in that same season, and it was wild watching this game, Phil. Because to me, what I kept feeling throughout the majority of this game was it feels like the Wolves are down 25 points.
I know.
It literally felt like a game they were chasing, and the entire time they're down 6, 7, 3, 4. I think the Clippers' largest lead they showed on TNT was 10 points tonight.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it felt like they were literally down by 20-plus points, and they were still able to rally. And by the way, they lost their star player who put up one of the most horrendous nights of all time, and the team was still able to win.
I mean, think about that for a second. They had the way that Karl-Anthony Towns played tonight, and I will add to Eb Malloy and Scott Foster are individually two of the most insufferable referees in the NBA. You put those dudes together, and it's like, did people pay $400 to sit in the lower bowl to watch you guys just buffoon around for 3 hours tonight? But they somehow overcame officiating. They overcame probably considering the circumstances, the worst game of Karl-Anthony Towns' career. I know he found a way to grab some rebounds and make an impact for a few minutes in the second half, but for those guys to overcome, and don't underrate the fact that Taurean Prince didn't play in this game too. I mean, he's one of the best rotation players the Wolves have. But tonight, and we alluded to this throughout the week, early in the week here on Mackie and Judd last week, Anthony Edwards just feels like a big game player.
Yeah, man.
Whether it's, all right, you got the Warriors on national TV or you're on ESPN, he tends to sense when the lights are bright and when some of his peers and people he looks up to might be watching closely. And you could tell out of the gate, he scored the Wolves' first 3 baskets. You could just tell, all right, he is not at all swallowed up by this moment. He's ready to come in here. D'Lo got off to a really slow start, but the moment was not too big for either one of those guys. And they collectively dropped 59 points on 39 shots to dagger the Clippers, a lot of that coming in the fourth quarter tonight. So, and we're getting some people here in the so-called green room of Ventline. So if you want to jump in, we're just going to use the Vikings Ventline. Email us at vikingsventline@gmail.com, and we'll send the invite to some of you guys and bring you in here. I see Judd is checking in. Should we bring Judd in here? Might be kind of a disaster noise-wise, but
it's a party.
Judd is bumping. Judd's literally courtside right now at the Target Center.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is nuts in here. It's awesome.
Hey, hold on. Can you hear us right now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Actually, it's just really loud.
Oh, can you find a flag?
Actually, you know what? You know what?
You got. Oh, he's got a towel.
I got the towel from tonight. Huh? How about that? Huh?
There it is. Look at
How about that? How about
So-
that towel right here?
So we've kind of said, listen, like we'll do the Karl-Anthony Towns conversation either later or tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that they overcame that and Ed Malloy and officiating and just like the rotation being thrown off and whatnot, and
Well,
for
how about you
Anthony
call-
Edwards,
How about you calling it? You called Ant.
I called the whole thing. I called the Karl-Anthony Towns foul trouble and the Anthony Edwards rising up.
I mean, this was a coming out party for a superstar. The cat thing we can discuss and certainly break that down, but this was the coming out party for a superstar. Like, as much as the TNT guys might rip Cat, I guarantee you right now, they're praising Ant. Like, this was an incredible performance. There's so much joy in this place. So many people like Jim Pete, who's watched this godforsaken product. This old building tonight was alive. It was fantastic. The game was ugly, but who cares? Because that's what makes playoff games fun.
Yeah.
This place is electric. It's so cool right now. And the fact that this team had another superstar, right? You got JJ with the Vikings, you got Kaprizov with the Wild, you got Buxton with the Twins. And, the moment not only wasn't too big for Ant, he took it by the neck, grabbed it, and suffocated it. And I can't say enough about what this 20-year-old kid did. Here we go.
Get the towel. There it is.
I'll properly display this by tomorrow.
I love
But
it.
yeah, they gave these away. I give this crowd a ton of credit. Like, I don't know if it transferred through on TNT, but this place was electric.
It did, yeah, it did. By the way, it's funny. I just saw Judd's text to us that said, "Hey, I'm in the room, but the music's still bumping, so don't put me on." Well, we put you on, so.
Well, I also sent you guys. I sent Dex a video. The first one I sent has Ant came like right up to our press table here, and just unbridled joy. Once that gets posted, it's just so cool. Like, I can't say enough about what I love moments of greatness. And especially when it's new, like after a while with Puck, and it was still great, but you became used to it. But I mean, this was a moment of greatness, and it's like, how's he going to play? And you called it, but then he did it. Yeah. And then it's such unbridled joy. Like, he's going over hugging people. Like, he wanted this so bad. Cat didn't, but that's that. But he wanted this so bad, he got it, and it's just like, here it is, folks.
So, by the way, right now on Inside the NBA, they're just clowning the Timberwolves for celebrating. So I'm just reading tweets and getting people are sending us messages here that apparently the Inside the NBA crew is just clowning the Timberwolves for the way they're celebrating becoming the 7th seed. But you know what? Screw you guys. I love the Inside the NBA crew, but like, this franchise's history, you got to start somewhere. All right, it's the second playoff appearance since 2004. So just let us have this for 5 minutes, for God's sake.
Pat Bev post game was crying. Like, he walked off the court in tears. I mean, this is an emotional game tonight. The Wolves looked terrible at times, and they won. I'm probably the most skeptical guy among the three of us for sure, but I cannot rain on Ant's parade. Like, it's not fair.
No,
why would you clown on that?
This is kind of funny. Charles Barkley said we need to play one shining moment as they're watching the Timberwolves celebrate. But you know what? Who cares? Like, I get it. This is just sort of a ho-hum accomplishment for most teams in the NBA, but you got to start somewhere. And it's not, by the way, it's not just about celebrating the play-in. This felt like a gateway to an era for the Timberwolves. Now, where this era goes and how, what the peak looks like and who is still going to be on the team 3 years from now or whatever, we don't know the answers to those questions, but this felt different than Game 82 4 years ago, because Game 82 4 years ago was sort of, it's just a one-time, that team was never going to make it in the long run. This feels like a gateway game to something bigger at some point, whether it's this year or in 2 years from now. That's what people are celebrating. People are celebrating this team, not necessarily just the play-in. So,
and I think it's a very interesting point because it's very weird. It's because of Pat's game and because of what Ant did. And you know what? Starting second quarter as well, guys, D'Lo, give him credit too. This felt like officially clarifying who's in charge of this team. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns off the floor tonight did the Wolves more good than on the floor. But, throughout the course of this game, Anthony Edwards was so empowered to take control. That's what I think that's what is being celebrated here as well. To your point about it, Phil, being a gateway game, that there's a definition right now of who took this game over. And look, it was a tough game. It was a very tough game. But yeah, I think it's fair. I'd be the first guy to say, pump the brakes. But with where this team is, I don't think it's fair. I think that they deserve that there's certain members of this team that deserve a ton of credit. Yeah. And here's the thing too. It's unfair for this fan base to be told to calm down. They've been through too much.
Correct.
They put up with garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage. I mean, so you're going to tell me right now, well, celebrate like look, if this was the fourth consecutive year of playing games, I'd be like, okay, calm down. But this fan base tonight, again, proving they're starved for anything halfway decent. It's a playing game. I get that. But they were so into it and so celebratory, and Ant embraced that. Unless you're here, I think what the TNT guys don't get is this is an embracing of the vibe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in all fairness, the TNT guys have watched 6 Timberwolves games in 15 years. Yep. The 4 games against the Rockets, Game 82, and this one. So, and maybe if there's a random game on a Thursday night or something and they were forced to stay up late. And D'Lo had a really bad stretch at the end of the regular season, put together a couple nice games. And tonight, if it wasn't for his steady hand in knocking down some of those mid-range jump shots, when there was times where it looked like the Clippers were pulling away, boom, 7-point lead again, 10-point lead again, and here comes D'Lo steadying the ship after Karl-Anthony Towns fouls out. And so huge credit to him as well. By the way, if you're just jumping in here, this is Mackie and Judd special edition of Timberwolves Vent Line. You can email us. I know it's kind of confusing. We should probably come up with a different email, but we're going to use the Vikings Vent Line email address. If you want to jump in, we'll send you a link, vikingsventline@gmail.com. And so maybe we can mute Judd's techno dance party there and get to our first Timberwolves fan here. Dex, who do we got out of the gate here on Vent Line? I think, Dex, you're muted there.
Let's go to our loyal buddy Ben.
There we go.
Ben in Florida.
What's up,
How
Ben?
we doing, Ben?
Oh, man. So I haven't, usually during the NBA regular season, I don't watch a lot of games. There's just way too many games going on. So I usually really pick up around after All-Star break. And I gotta say, if I'm Chris Finch at the next practice, I have to ask myself, can I trust Cat in the Grizzlies series? A series that, even though it's 2-7, the Wolves can make that a really competitive series.
I agree.
But you have to ask yourself, can I trust Cat? Because another playoff type game and another game where he basically is a no-show. And this one is worse because he doesn't have a Tom Thibodeau coach or a Jimmy Butler type teammate next to him. So this one is pretty much all on him. But if I'm Chris Finch, I'm saying, look, it's going to be D'Lo. It's going to be D'Lo and Ant show the entire way. D'Lo and Ant are going to take us to where we want to go.
Well, I think the reality is if you are going to make noise in that Memphis series, you need Cat. You're gonna Cat's gonna have to be one of the key central figures, and I think you've got a few days here until the playoffs start over the weekend. So you basically have 3 or 4 days, and I think you just have to sit down, whether it's Finch or Pat Beverley. I mean, hell, Jake Layman was consoling him on the sidelines in the third or fourth quarter tonight. Like, someone's got to sit down and say, dude, let's talk about what happened there. All right, I know there were some bad calls, but what happened when your emotions start to ride that red line? How do we put some space in there, man? Like, how do we pull you back from the ledge? You got to stay engaged in this thing. Yeah. So, you have to have 4 days of conversations about that with him.
Because even if you aren't scoring, like, he can rebound the ball, he can defend. Like, if you can do other things, but he just wasn't doing other things. Like, if he wasn't scoring, he just kind of shut down. And on the Pat Bev stuff, I will just say this: when the trade first happened, I was like, I don't know, man. He was a menace when he was with the Clippers, man. I wasn't sure about that. Whoever said that we should trade for Pat Bev should get a raise in that organization.
Well, that's funny you bring that up. He's not with the organization anymore.
Yeah, I know, but he's just the energy, the hustle, the effort. Even when he was in foul trouble, just all of that little things that you just don't really see in the box score. He's doing it on a consistent basis, and that's just something you can't teach. You just can't teach. So I'm fired up, man. Bring on the Grizzlies. I'm fired up for the Grizzlies.
What a blast. Ben, thanks for jumping in, man. We'll catch up with you probably on Vikings Vent Line or Wild Vent Line, whatever vent line. Ben's always one of our best. Let's Judge, you have a thought real quick before we get to someone else?
Yeah, I think it's very. If you break down what transpired here tonight, though, the problem with Cat is the moment was too big. Like he got eaten up by everything. He got eaten up by the officiating, the emotions. I don't know that you can spend 4 days fixing that. Like, we've talked about it before. I mean, Chris Finch ain't dumb. He's talked about it before. They all know what the problem is. The problem is it just continues. I don't know. I mean, as much as Ant grabbed the moment and took it and ran with it and did a magnificent job, I think it's sort of just ingrained, right? Like, Ant took it and he's born with the ability to do it. Cat got overwhelmed. And like at the end, he was excited, but nothing like you would think, because it's just all consuming. I can't describe it. I just don't know it can be rectified.
Yeah, I think like we're gonna have to clear some space on Mackey and Judd this week just for some sort of how fixable is Cat in these situations. I mean, we talked about this for the days leading up, that if you're the Clippers, what is your game plan? You run at Cat and you try to get him in foul trouble. And they did. And I think I agree with the TNT guys at halftime. Chris Finch leaving him out there after 3 fouls and the high emotions, like, it was very obvious he was just teetering on the edge. So allowing him to pick up that 4th foul in the first half was a huge coaching mistake. But, hey, despite all these things, they won the game. They got by the Clippers. If I would have told you guys, hey, so Karl-Anthony Towns is going to have probably his worst NBA game of his career. The officials are going to be interjecting themselves in a way that isn't friendly for the Timberwolves. And Paul George is going to go off for 34 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals.
Yeah, Clippers
win.
What's
the outcome of the game?
The Clippers win by about 10.
Yeah.
10 to 12.
Insane.
But, Cat, just quickly, Cat, because the Wolves bench is right to my right here, and he came over in front of the press table a couple times, swearing about how I can't get to, they won't let me drive, and they won't, and he looked like a guy I played with in 8th grade who would start to cry when things didn't go his way. And it's like, no, that you can't do that, man. It's going to be tough. It's basically the playoffs. You got to find a way to channel that positively. And the fact that the Clippers came up with a defensive plan, which, by the way, we knew was coming. It's not like oh my God, I can't believe they did that. And that you're still that flustered by it. Like, yeah, that's but I mean, I saw him melting. He's literally melting down.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, just like extracting him from the game I'm not saying that you can just do that against Memphis. Like, you need him.
It was positive
to some extent, but tonight,
yes, you're right.
Yeah. Tonight, pulling him from the game for chunks, look at, not that plus minus tells the whole story, but among the Timberwolves players tonight, D'Lo was a plus 12. Naz Reid was a plus 17. Cat was a minus 14. By far the worst on the team, a minus 14. By the way, if you're jumping in here and you're hanging out with us late, this is a late tip tonight. The game went forever. If you're hanging out with us close to midnight Central Time, click that subscribe button on the Score North YouTube channel so we can help spread the word about Mackie and Judd, Timberwolves Vent Line, and this awesome Minnesota sports community that you guys have helped us build. All right, on to the next year, Timberwolves Vent Line.
Let's go to David. David, how you doing, man? Welcome back.
How we doing, guys?
What's up, David?
I've never been happier to be wrong about to write that down for this show, like ever. That game was exciting, nerve-wracking, and that doesn't even include the glue lady. We'll figure that out later, but
yeah. So apparently she glued herself to the court in protest because one of Glenn Taylor's chicken farms had to put down some chickens that were stricken with illness.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll leave that one alone. But you know, Ty Lue did exactly what he needed to do, and we somehow got enough shooting in the second half to win this game. Not sure why the Clippers didn't go back to Norm Powell or Nick Batum more. Those guys, anytime they were in the corner and open, they were making every shot. And I don't know why they went back to Zubac there for long stretches. But this is Ant's team going forward. Like everybody else has said, this has to be Ant as the alpha going forward. And it presents an interesting thing against Memphis because the blueprint was there tonight. You have your sagging big, clog the lane to keep D'Lo and Ant out of it because the center is playing Vando, who can't shoot. And they have a better defender with Jaren Jackson Jr. for Cat. So does Finch try to get more shooting in this series? Like, do we try – like, I know Jaden's young and maybe not the greatest guy, but Vando is almost a zero on offense unless he's sitting in the dunker spot. Do we have anybody that gets more shooting to try to keep somebody out of the lane so we can keep those driving lanes more open?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, David, thanks for jumping on, man. To your just to go back to your first point about, you know, some of the things that were working for the Clippers. You know, that's where I would love to. I was so caught up in like the emotions of the game, just kind of watching on pins and needles, but it felt like Paul George went into hero ball mode a little bit, and he was hot, but I mean the Clippers are so great at moving the ball and getting wide open shots, and once Cat was out of the game, I don't know if Paul George just said, all right, now that Cat's out, I'm just going to ice this game and dagger it. And it kind of felt like the ball stopped moving a little bit for the Clippers and shots stopped going in. The Timberwolves went on, like a 20-4 run or something, and then they were shooting free throws. So let's keep it rolling here. Timberwolves Vent Line, Judd's at Target Center, Mackie and Judd, Declan, our executive producer.
Let's go to Jacob. Jacob, what's up, pal?
What's
You're
up,
on
Jacob?
Wolves Vent Line.
How's it going? So really started watching the Wolves actually because of you guys.
Awesome.
Through the Judd's Hockey Show. Just want to say, what an entertaining game. Hadn't really been watching the Wolves much. They got into it tonight, and just an exciting game. I really didn't think the Wolves were going to be able to pull it out through halftime, and when it got some more drinks, and just a fun game to watch to the end. Exciting stuff. Even with, I know I'd watched your guys' shows earlier in the week, talking about Cat possibly getting into foul trouble. Saw him getting into that and got a little worried into the fourth quarter there. It's cool to see him pull through even with all the foul trouble that Cat was having. Cool to see Ant pull through, and just excited to watch a fun Wolves game tonight.
Love it, man. Yeah, Jacob. So you're a new Timberwolves fan, so you don't have to deal with like 17 years or 30 years of torture. This is great for you. You're like, oh, cool, playoffs every year.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Dude, been dealing with the Wild trouble, but the Wolves are a little bit new to me. But
Wild
it's
one's
been
big,
really
though.
fun to watch. Yeah, the Wild game was really fun tonight as well. So
Exactly right.
Jacob, a Timberwolves fan without the baggage, man. Thanks for coming on.
See you, Jacob.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it, man. Love it. Let's keep it rolling here. We've got a bunch of people in this green room celebrating this Wolves playoff appearance.
Let's go to Jake. Jake, what's up, buddy? You're on Wolves Vent Line. How are you?
Can you hear us okay? I think
Might
you're
be
muted.
muted.
Let's put Jake just in the back room just for a
Okay,
second.
we'll come back to you, Jake.
We'll come back.
By the way,
Jake, just here in a second.
this show presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. We'll get a little business out of the way here. They've been partners of the Timberwolves for a long time and supporting them, and they support us at Score North and Mackey and Judd. So if you're a business owner looking for risk management, frontline protection, check out all the resources they have at federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours.
Let's go to Drew. Drew, buddy, you got us? Okay, welcome to Wolves Vent Line.
Oh, yeah,
I think
can
we're
you
having
hear
some
me?
connection issues with Drew there. A
Yeah.
little bit of a delay. Let's pop Drew in the green room because we have a little
Got
bit of a delay there. Let's
Got
third time's a charm here. Who's next?
Nas Reed was a +17.
Tristan?
Hey, what's going on, boys?
Hey, man, how are you? Welcome to Wolves Vent Line.
Hey, I got you guys on the big screen catching up on what's going on because I was a little late to the game. I got all my
Nice.
Timberwolves jerseys right here.
Wow, dude. Okay, well, who's
Yeah.
it? It's like a wall of Timberwolves.
Derrick
jerseys.
Rose.
We got Rose, Towns. We got Towns again, Rose, Butler, and Edwards. And then we got
Nice.
the good old boy right here in the corner.
Love it, dude. Love
So
it.
I also got my Judd paper on the table as well. So the TNT crew clowning them at the end of the game. I think that was terrible.
So were you watching that? Because we're just seeing people tweet at us and stuff. Were you watching it?
Yeah, it was terrible. I'm gonna mute this because I got you guys going. So absolutely terrible. They were clowning them. That was a championship celebration, and overall, I think that was just really bad on their part. The halftime show, I think, was really accurate on what they're saying. Finch should have kept Towns, Bev, even Ant out, and then just for foul trouble. And then, but overall, super great game. And then Ant, Bev, and D'Lo carried the team. And I think the casuals with Cat, yes, it was a terrible game. But that was by far the worst game I think Cat has played all year.
Yeah,
I
I think it's
watched-
the worst game of his career,
Of his
honestly.
career.
Like
Yeah.
It 100% was. I watched at least 65 out of the 82 games, and that Cat absolutely fell apart with the Grizzlies. Timberwolves match up great against them,
they do.
and I think we're running them to 6. I think you can write this down. Obviously,
Like
I
it.
know you guys don't do write that downs right here, but I think the T-Pups take them in 6.
Write this down.
You know what, man? We're 3 minutes away from midnight. We're 3 minutes away from Write That Down Wednesday, Dex. Can we make a special exception here? Can we go on? Can we go on the record here?
Let's do it.
Hey,
Let's do it.
I've watched you guys since last season of the Vikes in the off season. Love you guys. And then some party notes. Again, TNT talking about Jimmy and Cat, they're casuals. I think they're clowns. Honestly, you got to give a little bit more respect to the Timberwolves and bring up freaking Jimmy Butler. Come on. No, we're better than that. Cat has led this team to the playoffs this year, and it's just, I think it's bad on their part to bring something up like that. But love you guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank
And,
you.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. We'll get that Write That Down on the record. I will say, I don't have a problem with them clowning Towns. He needs to earn respect on this level. So I don't have a problem. He earned the clowning that he got from the TNT guys. I don't love the clowning of the Timberwolves and the fans for celebrating this.
Right.
Guys, it's a poverty franchise that we've all been waiting for something great to open up again for the first time in 17 years. So,
And they came
let
back.
us have it. Let us have
They
it.
came back and won. They came back and won, and they were
Yeah.
led by their young superstar. What's not to be proud about that?
Yeah, celebrate away.
I've no, yeah.
Mm.
Again,
No
good for the fans. I'm glad for the fans here.
All right, should we try Jake again here?
Yeah, let's try our guy Jake. Jake, you got us okay? Oh, man, you're muted.
We can't hear Jake.
Jake, just a logistic thing. Make sure your input on the settings just matches whatever microphone you're using there. That might be able to help you out. Let's try Sean. Sean, do you got us okay?
Yeah, I got y'all. Y'all hear me?
There
Yeah,
we
man,
go.
we got
What's
you.
up, Sean?
Cool. Well, hey, I just want to say thank you for getting me on. Big fan. Been listening to you guys for about 15 months or so now, so it's
Cool,
been
man.
a good time.
Yeah.
But as a Wolves fan of about 5 or 6 years, I've started paying attention when Wiggins and Towns were drafted. This was by far the most excited I ever was for a win. That was incredible. Just especially something I was impressed by with Anthony Edwards was at the end, just the maturity to actually dribble away the ball and make sure that they can dribble away and get those extra free throws at the end. I thought that was really a savvy move by him.
Yeah. No, so you've got it's amazing, man. So you came in 5 years ago. So you've endured definitely some heartbreak and definitely some poverty seasons. I was telling these guys the other day, I'm not that old. I'm in my mid-30s, but like I peaked with the Kevin Garnett era as a fan, and then once they traded Garnett,
Yes, sir.
I went to so many games. Love that jersey. I went to so many games in like the first 4 or 5 years after the KG trade, saying I'm gonna grind. It's gonna be a little blip, couple of years transition. The Marko Jaric, Al Jefferson. I'm gonna grind these out. Randy Foye, because there will be an emergence at some point. And there wasn't until like 2017.
Right.
So I don't know, man. There's so many fans that have just been waiting for something like this, and not something like the sugar high of 4 years ago with Jimmy Butler, where they tried to expedite the process and it blew up in their face. But like this actually feels like hockey stick growth here over a 3 to 5 year period. Like this isn't a fluke. They've got a young nucleus. Anthony Edwards is only going to get better once he turns 21, 23, 25. And so, again, it's not a celebration of making the playoffs as the 7 seed. It feels like a culmination of 17 years of dreck to me tonight.
Right. I definitely agree with that just from the years I've been paying attention. And it definitely seems different than 2017 did. I mean, the Jimmy Butler experiment was cool at the beginning. Obviously, like you said, blew up in our face. But I feel, especially with Anthony Edwards, sky's the limit.
Yeah, he's a blast, man. Yeah,
Thank
you for coming on, dude.
There's a joy to this that didn't exist then, and it was pretty clear fairly quickly with Butler that it was going to be a grind and that he didn't really approve of his teammates. And so I think the difference here is Ant is so fun to watch. I think I said it today, but to me, he's got some pucket, like personality. He's got that pucket. He's got that love of the sport. He's got that. He loves to compete, and he brings everybody up. And I think the important thing too is Pat Bev is what Butler wasn't, which is he's the veteran. He's really wired tight. Don't get me wrong, but he also doesn't crap on teammates. Like he guides them. And I think between what Ant brings and what Pat Bev brings, it's incredibly important because Ant's not at the age to bring what Pat is. But Ant is, again, with that sort of pucket mentality. He lifts guys up just from his joy, just from his style. And you know what? There's a lot of guys that don't love the moment. This kid does. He loves the moment.
Here's one more nugget to throw. I'll throw this out. I tweeted this out. Just like, so if you want to be shocked at how the Wolves won this game. So if I would have told you before the game, the Cat's going to have the worst game of his career. Ed Malloy and Scott Foster are going to train wreck things.
I told you that was coming.
Paul George is going to drop 34, 7, and 5. And the Clippers are going to shoot 46% from 3.
I would say 9 out of 10 times the Clippers win that game. Just in terms of not looking at the score or watching it.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Are we getting a special
Horton,
guest here?
Ed Malloy, great night, huh? It did. Yes.
Friend of the show.
Alan
Horton.
Alan
Alan Horton. Say, yeah, come on. You got a second?
Can we pop the voice of the Timberwolves on Ventline here?
Just 2
Alan
seconds.
Horton.
Just say hi.
Peek your
Just
head
say
in,
hi.
man.
We got the whole crew in here.
Yep.
Alan Horton.
Alan Horton.
What's going on, buddy?
Can't hear what they're saying, but
Your,
that's all right.
your thoughts.
My thoughts, I thought it was a tremendous game. The fourth quarter comeback, just amazing to have that kind of a comeback in that type of game. That's huge. I mean, down by 10 with 8:40 left, and you go 26-11 against Paul George. And,
Yeah.
I mean, just and Cat facing the adversity of having Cat not in the game, just unbelievable.
Ant's game. One word to describe Ant's game.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Awesome stuff, man.
That's
Thanks.
Alan Horton, man, the longtime voice of the Minnesota Timberwolves, famous for the Emily.
I told you I had a bad feeling that Ed Malloy was going to get this game. I didn't bring up Scott Foster because he's not good too.
Yeah.
But boy,
amazing. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Timberwolves Ventline, Mackie and Judd, Score North YouTube channel.
What up, Anthony? How's it going, man? Yep, we got you.
Oh, good. I just gotta say, D'Lo and Ant carried us on offense, and Pat Bev with him defensively, we wouldn't have won this game.
Yeah, dude, Pat Bev. I think Pat Bev is even like that. And now Ed Malloy, of course, being Ed Malloy, tried to pull a mulligan, and he did. But like the whole thing, the little hand fighting on the jump ball with Morris, right? Like he knew that Morris had a technical. and he was trying to bait him into another technical or a double technical, and Ed Malloy called the double technical, like stuff like that, and now it backfired because they wound up reversing it. But just little things like that he's thinking about throughout the course of a game to get under guys' skin, or a block here or a steal there.
That block was impressive. Yeah, yes. On Batum, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The energy, and he's the only dude with actual playoff experience, meaningful playoff experience on this team too. So, yeah, he was a joy. Anthony, thanks for coming on, man.
One thing, on Instagram, you probably didn't hear us. Bev was like, "Fuck the weak ass Clippers" after the game. Normal, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, actually, I even saw Pat Bev has a beer at the post-game podium right now and is literally loving life and is dropping F-bombs and is saying, "I told y'all this is exactly what we were going to do. I've been telling my guy Ant that he can have this defense. I'm the best defender on the planet." It's rubbing off on Anthony Edwards. Pat Bev's feeling himself a little bit. I love it.
Pat Bev had 7 points. But you know what he did? Played a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like that's the thing about a guy like Pat Bev. 7 points, 11 boards, 3 assists, but yet his impact on the game was monumental.
Well, it's also great too that you can just sort of trust him throughout portions of the game to take the ball up the court and to start the offense. In a game like that where it's dragging on, the energy is high, and you're going to need close to 40 minutes out of D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards, it's nice that those guys can sometimes kind of take a breather and not have to dribble the ball up the court. Just little things like that you can lean on him for. Let's see who's next out of the gate here. Timberwolves vent line.
Let's go to Michael. Michael, you got us okay?
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, Michael?
How are you?
Oh, you guys, I have been a fan since right after they traded Kevin Garnett. So all I've known is poverty.
Oh,
Let me give you some names: Rashad McCants, Randy Foy, Martell Webster, Al Jefferson.
What a great era of Timberwolves basketball.
Shout out to my friend for getting me involved right after Kevin Garnett was traded.
We should do an obscure Timberwolves name off post Kevin Garnett.
Tell you what, I bet that would be pretty challenging.
Mark Blunt.
Judd, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
All I've known going to Timberwolves game is this dull, dreary, almost lifeless atmosphere when you go to one of those games.
Yep.
Indulge me a little bit. What was it like? And my follow-up question is, how much did the refs just absolutely suck the life out of that arena?
You know what? Credit to the fans. They didn't. They actually gave it more life. Fans were involved. And just to give you a taste of how electric this place was tonight, when I came and walked in as the Wolves were taking the court for pregame warmups, okay, this place was already jammed and everybody was standing up. It was electric. And I also came to the playoffs in, I think it was 2004. And I mean, when Minnesota basketball fans are presented with a product that's competitive and good and exciting, they are into it. So this place tonight, the roof about came off, but I give the fans credit because while frustrated with the work of Ed Malloy and Foster and the officiating crew, it didn't suck the life. They actually, I thought, kept it going. And in some ways, that's what Karl got eaten up by because he doesn't know how to channel that. But this place was great. It was huge fun. And this is what the Wolves can be if they give you a good product. It doesn't even have to qualify as great. If this is a good product, Wolves fans will not only come out, but they will be loud, they will embrace the team, and they will provide them with life.
I'll tell you real quick, Michael, if you have TikTok, or I think Declan put this on the Score North Twitter account too, but on the Score North TikTok account right now, SKOR North on TikTok, Judd posted a video of the final whistle, Mark Lowry running onto the court, crowd going crazy, and just the pure joy of the arena, Anthony Edwards and Patrick Beverley. You guys check out this video if you're looking for a sampling of what it felt like in that arena right at the end of that game. It's incredible.
Maybe post it on the YouTube. I don't know if you could do that, but can I
We
just
might
Across
be.
all, yeah.
It's on the fly. It might be kind of tough here, but check it
Across
out
all
on
our
TikTok.
platforms.
Never
Yeah.
mind. Can I just add one more thought?
Yeah,
and
man.
it's a rebuttal to Shaq and Chuck. And I'm a counselor, mental health counselor, so I'm going to use my language. And we have
Love this.
experienced basketball trauma, right? So when we watch a game, at least for me, I assume the worst is going to happen.
Yeah.
And you have to celebrate your small victories. I don't think they really appreciate just exactly the pure torture and heartbreak that we have experienced. And like other people have said, we should be allowed to celebrate these victories because they might be few and far between. I hope not, but who knows? This may be all we have for for a long time. I'm hoping, but we need to celebrate. So I'm going to celebrate by going to bed.
Love it, dude.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Good for
great
you,
stuff, man. Yeah. Don't apologize for celebrating this. Do not apologize for your Timberwolves joy on this evening. All right, who's next on Timberwolves Vent Line? Mackie and Judd here.
Let's try him
taking you
here.
through the night.
Joey.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We got you. We got
I
you.
switched to my phone because, I don't know what's going on with my computer, but third time's a charm. God, what a game. Honestly, like I think Phil, you said it exactly. Like if you would have told me that Cat had the worst game of his NBA career in this game, add that to the fact that Paul George dropped 34 and we still won. I mean, thank God for Ant Edwards. I think tonight was his coming out party nationally. I think unfortunately the national media jabronis are just going to keep focusing on Towns and whatever else they come up with, and the fact that we're a miserable franchise for a long time, and that I don't know. It was just tonight was fun, but I'm excited. I don't know, a lot of things going through my head, but
Yeah. No, Jake, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you, and appreciate you finding a device that worked here. Let's keep rolling here. Let's just keep. I think we've said everything that we need to say for right now. We have plenty more thoughts throughout the week.
Drew, do you got us?
Hey
okay?
guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
What's up,
got
Drew?
you.
All right, so I got two main points. One, it's Wednesday, so I'll admit where I was wrong. I really wanted LaMelo Ball over Anthony Edwards. I thought we needed the attention from LeVar and everything. It'd bring more attention.
We'll hit you with the buzzer there.
But I absolutely love Ant. He's amazing. And two is that I cannot believe there's people out there who thought we lost the D'Angelo Russell trade.
Right? Thank you.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you, dude.
I'm
Thank you.
repping the jersey right now.
Because Andrew Wiggins got to play with the greatest dynasty of all time and the greatest system of all time and scored 17 points a game. Give me a freaking break. Congratulations, Andrew Wiggins is a viable role player now. So they apparently won the trade. And I get that they got a draft pick too, but yes.
Yeah. I mean,
both
I love
teams
D'Lo.
made it out fine with that trade. I think it's fair to say. But the Timberwolves did not lose that trade.
Yeah. No, my final thought, I love Pat Bev. Love his energy. He changed the culture here. So thanks for having me on, guys.
He came out. Yeah,
you.
thank you, man. It's great stuff, Drew. He came in here at the beginning of the year and he said, I don't miss the playoffs. I don't miss the playoffs. So, but everyone else better figure it out because we're not missing the playoffs. And he was right.
And how important is a guy like that just to bring that mentality? And then the thing that I love is he backs it up. It's not a bunch of talk. It's not a bunch of BS chatter that does not come true. He backs it up in his own way. This reminds me actually more of a hockey pickup. Because these guys are, I feel like the Pat Bevs are more prevalent in hockey as far as captain type guys.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's not because they're great players. It's not oh my God, Pat Bev's carrying the team. It's all of the very important little things he does that become key, right? He basically makes this team, if this team's toughness on a scale of 1 to 10 with its current group, but not Pat Bev, is let's say a 3, it goes up to an 8.
Yeah. Well, Shaq, God, at halftime, man, they just savaged Karl-Anthony Towns and Chris Finch for 10 minutes. And Shaq said, that first half is why people call you. He goes, I love you, Cat. I think they've not become good friends, but they're friendly and stuff. And Shaq was dabbing him up at the All-Star game. And he said, that's why people call you soft. That's why people call you soft. But Pat Bev comes in and kind of balances that out in a way that brings people together. Jimmy Butler has kind of an F it, you're soft, go away, I'm going to just take this on myself. And Pat Bev is more of a, okay, guys, like, come on. You know, he's like herding a bunch of puppies, pun intended.
Right.
And it comes off, it's a more effective way of leading and spreading his knowledge and his experience than what Jimmy Butler brought. He's not as good of a player as Jimmy Butler was, but he is a better chemistry guy and a better glue guy than Jimmy Butler was. All right, looks like Brad is up next.
Yeah.
All right.
Sit up, Brad. Brad, you got us okay, man?
Hey, yeah, I got you loud and clear.
Nice, man.
What's going on, Brad?
Hey, I'm out here in Seattle with Mackie.
Oh, nice.
Actually, I was out here before Mackie, so you followed me.
That's right. Brad and
So
I
you're
are
not
actually,
stalking. So you're not stalking him, Brad. That's good to know.
we're actually in
Correct,
the same home studio right now. We're just about 5 feet apart. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've been a listener since the 9 to noon or 9 to 1 days on AM 1500. Been a Wolves fan since they drafted KG when I was like 5 years old. So happy to see this win tonight. It's been a long time. Probably the best Wolves game I've seen since I think I saw them beat the Warriors in person at the Target Center in like 2016. So yes, very exciting, and I would have paid a lot of money to be there tonight. I think, yeah, Shaq trashing Cat at halftime was totally justified. If there's an image of Cat that will last in the league beyond this franchise, it is just of him whining to the refs.
Yeah.
And I think Pat Bev has said it himself, like, stop talking to those guys. Stop talking to those guys. So hopefully this is the moment that Cat finally learns, like, you got to stop doing that because you saw the cost nearly tonight.
Like, how do you – and the people that are – I think what drives me nuts is – and I'm probably just overreacting to, like, 5 blank avatars on Twitter here, but, like, these people who are like, you need to be ripping the officials. This is a horribly officiated game. Okay, newsflash, a couple things. Games are going to be poorly officiated sometimes, okay? Also, there's going to be times where games just get really physical and you're not going to get fouls called. It's the playoffs. So sometimes you're going to get it one way, sometimes you're going to get it the other way. Is he the only player in NBA history or the only player on the court tonight that's had to deal with it? No. It happens. Figure it out.
Yeah,
and so
championship players overcome that.
Yeah, so hopefully he looked around and saw his teammates pick him up and win that game despite how much he tried to sabotage it. And hopefully he looks around and thinks to himself, all right, what do I need to do to fall in line here? Why was D'Lo able to keep his cool? Why was Pat Bev and Ant able to keep their cool and I wasn't? But I hope he has that level of introspection in the next 4 days, and we can talk more about it later this week on the show. But I don't know. He's got to prove it.
Yes, let's hope so. And yeah, props to Pat Bev. I mean, the leadership he has shown over Jimmy Butler has taken this team over the top, and I think kept fans excited. In 2017, 2018, when they made the playoffs, like that felt a little bit muted just because of all the drama that was going on in the background with Butler. But this time it feels like something we can get excited about. And even if they do inevitably lose against the Grizzlies, this feels much more like a start to something than the Jimmy Butler era ever did.
Yep. Absolutely. And it feels like Ant can take the baton as well. So like I think Ant's good enough and smart enough to learn from Pat Bev. And so I think that he will basically develop into the same type of player. It's just, in my opinion, right now, the ideal circumstance, right? Because Pat Bev is the veteran, grizzled. Here's what you should do, kid. And Ant's like, okay, yeah, awesome. And then again, the difference also with Butler's team and this team is there was no one on the Butler team who had the unbridled joy, passion, and talent that Ant did.
Yeah.
Like Butler did it begrudgingly. It was almost like I don't like these guys, but I'm good. And you know what? He was really good. But this stew feels far more sustainable. And in credit to Finch too, because Tibbs was always on the edge himself. I give Finch credit. He might screw up at times, but Chris Finch also brings a stability where he's not going nuts, where he's doing his best to stay as calm as possible. And Bev, I think, actually compliments Finch well. So like the only disappointment in my opinion tonight, once Russell got past the bad first quarter, was the fact they really couldn't get Cat back into the game.
Yep.
Yeah. Needless to say, I will be glued to my TV for the Grizzlies series.
Yep.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh,
Brad,
we will too.
Good stuff, man. we'll see you out here at a nearby bar, maybe Petoskey's or something.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys go out a lot.
Game.
Yeah.
Dinner, perhaps. You guys.
I don't go out at all anymore because I'm taking care of Maya the monster. Maya the dog.
Who's a good girl?
Got a trainer so we can leave the house once in a while. But yeah. So all right, we have so much more to unpack on tomorrow's show and throughout the week. But any final thoughts? We'll just go back to the arena here, where Judd's posted up courtside at Target Center.
I'm
Just
at the arena.
Final
thought. My final thought is this. This was great fun. It was at times an ugly basketball game, but it was a playoff type game, or a playoff game basically.
Yeah.
And I loved it. This is why we love sports. And you can complain about the officiating, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? In the face of adversity, the Timberwolves' young star proved that no stage was too big. Yes. And that's a heck of a thing to say. And we, in many ways, guys, right now, I really believe this, are in the sweet spot of Minnesota sports greatness with up-and-coming players. We really are.
Sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Oh, no, I just between what Ant brings, and Buxton's not young now, but he's certainly not old. Justin Jefferson, Kirill Kaprizov. Appreciate the fact that a town that I really think has been starved for superstar players seems to be cultivating and developing them on each of the 4 men's teams that we probably follow the closest.
Yeah. I would say my main takeaway from this is Karl-Anthony Towns cannot possibly play worse and be in a worse state of mind than he was tonight. And the Clippers shot lights out, and Paul George played his ass off, and they still won that game. And they match up better with Memphis than they did with the Clippers. And so I think they're going to give the Clippers, or the Grizzlies, a real fight in this series. Mm-hmm. And I while we sit here and praise Ant for what he did as a 20-year-old tonight on national TV on a pretty big stage, D'Lo deserves equal praise for his performance tonight too, and keeping this thing on the rails when it could have gone off the tracks 5 or 6 different times. So
29
those two
points
guys together tonight, and Pat Beverley, and there was other key performances too, but just a lot. I mean, think about how many times we've seen this team and this franchise just wilt under the lights, right? Like, this team isn't perfect, but this team tends to embrace some of these moments more than a lot of the other teams the last 17 years.
And I think, if whether you're someone locally or someone nationally, and if you're crapping on this moment, because look, this is a show, and I think this is a platform where we have a lot of self-awareness conversations, and sometimes we are kind of those people where we say, hey, maybe look in the mirror and celebrate, and don't celebrate the things you shouldn't be celebrating. But also understand the context of what this team has been through for the majority of their franchise history.
Yeah.
And when your superstar plays like this, you need your other players to step up. In hockey, this happens all the time in the playoffs. It's going to happen to the Wild. Kirill Kaprizov's going to get shut down by an opposing team. And Judd and I are going to rip the crap out of him. And guess what? The Wild can still win a game. The Timberwolves tonight can still win a game. That's still entirely possible. So don't let the people necessarily just absolutely drive that narrative. Take a look at everything that's happening right here. And for the Timberwolves to get a win like this, legitimately, I'm 29 years old. I remember the run through the Kings and the Lakers. I was 12, 11 years old. But I have only known putrid Mark Blunt. I put up those Timberwolves names, the Ryan Gomes, Sebastian Telfair, Ryan Blunt. I feel like I'm doing Stu Gott's Timberwolves observations right now. Okay? Understand the context. And for the Wolves, they deserve this tonight.
Yeah. So with that, thank you guys for hanging out with us here. Please click the subscribe button on the Score North YouTube channel. You can check out Mackie and Judd every single day. Also, wherever you find podcasts, scorenorth.com. And click the like button, too, to spread the word about this Timberwolves joy session that we all just experienced together. Plenty more thoughts and follow-up on tomorrow's Mackie and Judd show, so find us there. And, yeah, that's a wrap on this episode of Timberwolves Vent Line.
It's finally quiet. Finally quiet.